Welcome to Moose Plays, everyone. I'm the Liquor Moose, and today we will be going over my Week 11 team builder for the second season of the UPA D-League. This week we will be going up against Ange, coach of the Maine Absols. Please go check her out. I will link her Twitter in the description below. And yeah, so this is the last game of the regular season. It is so close to playoffs. The playoff race actually in general is tight, so I guess I should give some background about how we are doing and like the importance of this match. So currently I'm actually sitting quite well for playoffs, I'm not gonna lie. I don't remember the exact differentials of myself and like the people I'm racing against, but basically what I did find out was I can clinch playoffs even if I lose. I just can't lose 6-0. So I do feel comfortable, like regardless of the matchup, I do feel comfortable that I will be able to get at least one kill, so that way I can clinch myself into playoffs. The issue is Ange is 5-5 right now. We are 6-4. Ange is 5-5 currently, I believe, in the 6th slot. And there's two other teams that are 5-5 behind her out of playoffs. So this is actually a very important game for Ange, because if she loses this game and someone else wins, she's potentially out of playoffs. The issue, obviously, for both of our sides is that we don't really want to show our hands, realistically, because we could potentially play each other in playoffs if both of us make it. And yeah, so we don't want to give away like our best stuff, realistically. But obviously Ange still needs to win. So building for both of us, well, I can't speak for Ange personally, but I'm sure building for her was tricky. I know for a fact building for me was tricky. We're playing relatively early in the week, so I had to build relatively early and quickly. Like, I don't know, there's some obvious stuff is there that it can't guarantee, but like is a very likely bring that it's gonna happen anyways, because it's just like the obvious thing for the matchup. And then yeah, like I don't know, it was very tricky. I'm not gonna lie, it was pretty late at night when I built. I was really tired from what we did from that day, plus I was still in the midst of building for my previous game. Anyways, there's a whole thing I could go into. The point is, I personally don't think this is my optimal build, but I'm okay with that because I have some stuff that... There's still a few things that I haven't been able to try that I want to, but this team at least has a few things that I did want to try, like just for the sake of trying it, basically. So anyways, let's go over Ange's team and what she drafted. So, she drafted Jirachi, Tapu Bulu, Pangoro, Nidoking, Heliolisk, Rabombi, Kyurem, Starmie, Frogadier, Mega Sableye, and Ditto. Her Z-move users are Tapu Bulu, Kyurem, and Frogadier. So, biggest threat on this team is probably just in general the Mega Sableye. Normally the way you beat that is setup. My best setup Pokemon is obviously Megaglade, but Mega Sableye is immune to both of his stabs, so the best thing I have to hit is either X-Scissor or Knock Off. And Mega Sableye can also Will-O-Wisp my Megaglade, which makes me forced to run sub, but I think Mega Sableye can still break subs with Foul Play. Yeah, I don't know. I wasn't really liking the whole Mega Gallade situation with it. So Mega Sableye was a big threat. Jirachi's always a big threat when you play against it. Like, just the number of sets that it can run, and like obviously, like, you know, oh, Scarf Jirachi is gonna flinch you down with Iron Head. Like, obviously that's a factor. Tapu Bulu, again, like Skarmory. And then past that, Nidoking is definitely a big threat. Just like honestly, the fact of its coverage is just really, really good. Like, Skarmory would be a decent check to it if it didn't have Thunderbolt as well. So I think like combinations of Pokemon can deal with it, but like I don't think I can like just have one Pokemon that can assign the role of checking Nidoking until I find out it's set. Because like just with its coverage, its breaking potential is really, really good. And then past that, she just has like a bunch of other, like, not smaller, but like so everything that I've listed has so far been, like, in my opinion, like tier 1A. She has a lot of like tier 1B and tier 1C threats as well that I know can be effective. Things like Heliolisk, Heliolisk can be an issue, I know. And then things like Kyurem is really bulky, Starmie's really fast and can hit really hard. And then like there's some other like sleeper facts, like setting up against her is going to be hard because she has a Ditto. And then like just some other ones like Pangoro is like the meh, and I think Frogadier is actually really good, but I mean, and I guess it just depends on whether she thinks it's good for the match or not. Yeah, so like I've been saying for the past few weeks, I can't really pinpoint a 6 that she would bring, and again, with the whole situation of us not wanting to necessarily show our entire hand, she could very well, like, bring any 6 that she really wants, really. I know neither of us are gonna meme, because we both said, like I'm not memeing because it's not fair to the other people who are behind Ange chasing her, because then it's basically like giving Ange a free win and not giving them a chance at playoffs. And at the same time, Ange isn't gonna meme me because she wants to try, in case if she memes and I go serious, and then I just beat her and she just loses her chance of playoffs. So neither of us are memeing, that's for sure. But again, with the whole situation, like, her team's already set up where I don't really know what 6 she wants to bring, and then there's also the fact that we don't want to reveal our hand, so that just kind of adds a whole other layer to it. But that's enough about, like, that whole spiel. I think we can just go over my team right now. So first off, we have one of the obvious brings, which is Choice Banded Azumarill, and the reason this is obvious is because this this can guarantee Oko max defensive Mega Sableye. The speed here is for... It was actually supposed to be for no speed Pangoro, but then, as it turns out, also outspeeds max speed Sableye. I really don't think she would bring that, but it's just another cool fact. Again, Play Rough is there because, like, that's what KOs. What the fucking Mega Sableye? That's the thing. It KOs Mega Sableye. Liquidation is just the obvious other stab to have for, like, the Jirachi and stuff like that. Ice Punch is there as the best coverage to hit the Tapu Bulu with. And then Aqua Jet's there just to pick off the faster threats, mainly the Nidoking. If I can get it chipped down enough, then Aqua Jet can pick it off. And then obviously the rest is into HP and I guess 4 points left over for special defense. I built this team a little while ago, so maybe some of the things are a little iffy, but I think I have the general idea of the team. But next up, we have another relatively obvious bring in the Skarmory, because like I said, she has a Tapu Bulu there, and this thing is, like, probably the best Tapu Bulu answer you could ask for in the entire game. Honestly, because I have this, I have no idea whether she brings Tapu Bulu. She hasn't really brought it a whole lot this season, I don't think, so maybe seeing this combined with my Celebi there, and I guess a Garbodor on my team as well, like, maybe seeing those things makes her not want to bring the Tapu Bulu, which kind of makes sense. But anyways, Roost is obvious. Iron Head is there because I wanted something to hit the Tapu Bulu, obviously. Brave Bird you would think would be better, which I guess which probably is, but this also has the added benefit of hitting the Kyurem for super effective damage, and I don't really want to be taking the extra recoil when I have a feeling that, like, Bulu's going to be able to hit this hard anyways, and then I also have a feeling that if the Bulu doesn't show up, this is going to end up being my Jirachi answer, so it's going to get worn down. Even if Iron Head doesn't do a whole lot, if he's like Thunder Wave Iron Head, then maybe, or sorry, if Ange is if she is Iron Wave Thunder, Jesus Christ, I was just about to say Iron Wave Thunderhead, Thunder Wave Iron Head, then Skarmory's going to end up taking a lot of Iron Heads, so I definitely didn't want the extra recoil on there. I just want to get the recovery off. It's weird seeing that I have Stealth Rocks on a team that has a Mega Sableye, but watching all of her replays, she hasn't led with Sableye a single time. So if I can just lead with this, I can at least guarantee my rocks up, and then I will still have this around to defog in case that she gets her webs up, because I think webs, I guess maybe on this team wouldn't be so particularly detrimental, just because I do have my 3 flyers or like levitators or however you want to call it, but I don't really want webs on my side. But yeah, so I'm gonna stick with this. I think, again, spread's straightforward. Next up, like, I mean, you've heard it from the other times that I've brought it. I hate having to bring Scarfite Dragon, but it's a relatively decent bring, as it does outspeed non-Scarf Jirachi should she choose to go that route, and then it also outspeeds the Rabombi, which is a really important one, and outspeeds the Starmie, which is an important one, and then outspeeds the potential Scarfers of Nidoking, which is important, and I mean, maybe Scarf Rocketier's a thing, but, like, I don't know, I felt this was a Scarfer that seemed decently positioned in the match, so I thought I'd bring it. Again, Draco Meteor, Dark Pulse, U-Turn are obvious. Fire Blast is here for pretty much all the things that those 3 can't hit. Well, I guess those 2 and Draco Meteor and Dark Pulse can't hit. So this hits Tapu Bulu, it hits Rabombi. I guess those are the big ones. I guess it technically hits Heliolisk, assuming that she would run Dry Skin. That gives it a fire weakness, so I guess it hits that. But for the most part, it's just here for the Bulu and the for the Rabambi, and has the added benefit of hitting Jirachi on the switch. So yeah, and then obviously speed is here for, I guess it's the Frogadier. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. Does it? Maybe not. Maybe it's for the Kyurem. Yeah, actually, you know what? This makes more sense for the Kyurem, just looking at it. Yeah, I don't know. I might change it for the Frogadier, but I don't know. Maybe. Yeah, actually, you know what? Yeah, what is it? Okay, I'll cut to when I'm finished this. Okay, and we're back. Sorry about that. So we are now outspeeding the Frogadier. Yeah, I mean, I guess if she did bring it, like, I could see it being scarfed. I more see it like probably Life Orb attacker, but either way, we're outspeeding that. In the case, I guess the more realistic scenario would be if our scarf gets knocked off by something. So yeah, we are now outspeeding that, and yeah, not too much to say about High Dragon. It's a High Dragon that's scarfed. It does the obvious stuff. So now on to a couple things that I didn't. Oh, Jesus Christ! I've wanted to run, but just haven't really found the correct positioning, so I thought I'd give them a try. So first off, we have Life Orb Tornadus, because this thing can just hit like a truck, and like the fact that Tornadus, that like you don't like, Tornadus obviously doesn't want to be locked into things, but the fact that we can get a boosting item, and then for Tornadus it doesn't matter because it can pivot out and get Regenerator, is freaking awesome. And yeah, so this thing is just meant to just dent teams. Obviously, like, Hurricane is here for the obvious stab. Dark Pulse is here. Dark actually is like, Dark is actually a surprisingly good coverage move. Like, just Dark Flying in general is surprisingly good coverage for, for Ange's team. And then on top of that, we just have Sludge Bomb. Again, for the same reason, I believe it was 2 weeks ago that we ran Sludge Bomb. Oh yeah, it was against Ethan. We ran Sludge Bomb instead of Sludge Wave, strictly just for the 30% poison chances, specifically for things against, like, the Kyurem is the big one, as, like, I feel like that's going to end up being the general sponge for Tornadus, since the only thing that I would be able to do to it super effectively would be either Superpower or Hammer Arm. Like, fighting coverage, that's relatively unreliable in the case of, like, Superpower, Hammer Arm, Focus Blast. So yeah, I kind of feel like Kyurem's going to end up being the general sponge for Tornadus, so if I can get a poison on that, that would be pretty good, just to try to wear down the longevity of it. And then on top of that, just the general stuff, like, you know, U-Turn is just for shenanigans, Hurricane Stab, Dark Pulse, and Sludge Bomb, decent cover. Just these two are actually, they're just really, really good coverage for Ange's team. And then obviously the speed would be here for the Starmie, since that's a threat. And yeah, again, not too much to say about Tornadus, because I just really wanted to try Life Orb Tornadus out, and hopefully it works well in this match. Next up, we have a Sub-Calm Mind Celebi. So I've been getting to use, or I've been mostly using Celebi in a defensive role this entire season, pretty much, and I guess in this case it's not much of an exception, because the main reason I'm bringing this is to ease the Starmie pressure on my team for a lot of it, because looking at the rest of my team, Starmie looks actually like pretty decent, barring maybe Azumarill, but like Starmie does get Thunderbolt, so the worst thing Celebi has to worry about is an Ice Beam, and with this special defense investment, it can never do over 50% with an Ice Beam, which means, I mean, I could potentially Calm Mind up, but like, this is mostly just here to be like my oh my god, my Starmie answer. As by the way, that damage I was mentioning before is if she is Life Orbed. If Ange decides to bring Choice Specs Starmie, then it probably 2-hit KOs, or at least a roll to 2-hit KO. I'm pretty especially bulky, I'm not gonna lie. I thought about Subseed at first, because I did want to try that out, but at the same time, like, she could bring Tapu Bulu, I honestly have no clue, and then at the same time there's also that Mega Sableye there, which would just magic bounce them back. So really all I'd be doing is just getting a sub up, which Celebi without setup doesn't really hit the hardest, so if I was to run sub, I would definitely want to run some sort of setup. This setup is like relatively ditto proof, as well as if I have the sub up, then obviously Imposter doesn't work. And then at the same time, I resist both Giga Drain and Earth Power. So our Calm Mind boosts matchup, so I basically get a free Calm Mind on the Ditto. It's basically, if you saw how I ditto-proofed my Landorus setup in my GPC match. It was pretty much the same thing, just both of my attacks are resistant to itself. So it's sort of setup or ditto-proof, I guess. It's sort of ditto-proof, but the only thing I have to make sure is if the Ditto's still alive, I can't go max. I would only want to try to go one above, just because like if it ends up going to the point where if somehow I end up going like max Calm Mind and then she copies my stat boost and then I end up losing the war, which I don't really expect unless she decides to bring leftovers on Celebi herself. I don't know. Honestly, the big thing I have to watch out for is I don't want to get to +6 right away if the Ditto is still in the back. And then on top of that, there's also like some other things. Like I have to watch out for Bulu's Mega Horn, it's a guaranteed or no, actually I'm an idiot. It's a guaranteed one-shot, so I will have to watch out for that because if the Bulu does show up, I can sort of help relieve the Bulu pressure from Skarmory with this, barring the Mega Horns there. Pretty much, if I can confirm that that the Bulu is choice locked, then I can do it, because that way, oh my goodness, I can't think. Because then that way I can make sure that I don't take a big ass Mega Horn to the face, and then all I have to really worry about is like Wood Hammers and like superpowers and stuff like that. Which will maybe Wood Hammer doesn't grant me a free sub, but I think everything else does. The speed is here for Adamant Bulu in case, like I said, that situation does come up. As Giga Drain's actually doing a decent amount to an offensive Bulu, even unboosted. So unboosted, I think it's probably 4-hit KO, but considering that's a resisted hit, it's not too bad. But yeah, so again, this was just something I wanted to try out, and I just kind of want to see how it does, and hopefully it can put in a little bit of work. Obviously, I'm gonna have to watch it for Kyurem as well, as I don't have Dazzling Gleam. But like I said, I just wanted to make sure that like Dazzling Gleam's neutral to myself, so I didn't want to go too crazy. I think with Earth Powers there, I'll at least be able to break it if I have enough boosts up. And hopefully she just doesn't bring Choice Specs Kyurem, because that would be detrimental to this set, I'm not going to lie. And lastly, on top of that Kyurem subject, Kyurem was kind of looking like a problem, so we decided to run Assault Vest Delphox. I hadn't brought it yet since I picked it up. I still haven't ran Garbodor yet. I'm not sure. I mean, obviously I'm not going to in the regular season. In the playoffs, who knows, it might come. I mean, I only had my free agents for 3 games. So yeah, Delphox I think in general just is positioned decently well for against Ange, and I think has a bunch of potential sets, but I think I'm going to stick with this one for this match. This was actually one that I had, this was one of the first ones I built after Azumarill. Like Azumarill was obviously the first one I built. Maybe I built Skarmory after that, but after that I built this, and then I kind of built the other 3 after, so I honestly can't tell you what the specific investment is for. I definitely should have looked it up, but I have to imagine that we guarantee Oko a Rabombi with this investment, and we probably guaranteed 2-hit KO a Jirachi. That's just my guess. And then I know why we're Assault Vest, because we're Assault Vest because Kyurem was looking like an issue, so we wanted to be able to take the tank the Ice Beams. But yeah, and then obviously this is a decent fairy switch-in if Rabombi clicks Moonblast instead of Bug Buzz. Bug Buzz not so much, only because we're neutral to it. But yeah, so again, I probably should have looked up. I do remember the attack investment actually was to be sure that that we guarantee Oko a Nidoking, like the Nidoking set that I expect Ange to bring. We guarantee Oko that with Psychic. That was what the offensive investment was for. And then we're speed creeping, and then we are, and then we just put the rest into HP. So yeah, and then we're obviously Assault Vest because with the Assault Vest we do guarantee take 1 hit from anything Nidoking wants to throw at, or Life Orb Nidoking anyways. I don't think she'd bring Choice Specs Nidoking. I think that's kind of worse in my opinion. But yeah, so again, I can't really say there's not too much to say. The big ones here, like Fire Blast Psychic was, again, decent coverage for the team. The only thing that it really doesn't hit is the Starmie, which is what the Shadow Ball's for, and then we have Dazzling Gleam just for the Kyurem and the Mega Sableye, if that ever comes down to it. But yeah, hopefully I'm just going to be able to, like, oh my god, hopefully I'll be able to break the Mega Sableye with my Azumarill. So yeah, again, like, we have These two are pretty obvious. This was well positioned in the match in general, and I guess so was this. And then these two were just things that I kind of wanted to try throughout the whole season and just couldn't find the time to, so I decided why not bring them in a game where I don't want to show my entire hand pretty much. So yeah, that is the team we are bringing against Ange. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. And like I said, please go check out Ange on Twitter. She seems like a really cool girl. So yeah, keep your guys' eyes out on the channel tomorrow for when the match versus Ange goes live. And thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.